Hey guys, this isn't exactly a review video, but I had a problem today when I went to go charge my hoverboard, and it turns out I'm pretty sure that my charger is somehow defective. This guy has been nothing but perfect. The batteries have never gone bad, they never overheat. I mean, I got this thing probably, shoot, 3 or 4 years ago? Maybe even older than that by now. You can tell it's been through some rough patches and whatnot, but this was before the whole thing really took off and they started making stuff cheap. The batteries became worse. They started catching fire in the mall and stuff like that and burning down people's homes. This is not one of those. This is before they started getting cheap so that they could keep up with manufacturing. This is a good unit. Be it that it's old, it's still absolutely perfect, with the exception of, obviously I've scraped it and I've run it through its course. Wheels hold up perfect, all the sensors, all the lights, including the lights on the front. Turn it on for you. So, lights work. I mean, everything's great on this thing. I love it. But I went to plug it in and the charger flashes red. It also flashes red when it's not connected, which tells me that it's the charger. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this guy apart and we're going to see if we can't figure out what's wrong with it, fix it, and I'll have my setup back up and running without trying to find a new charger here. This thing, it all came as a bundle from China, so you know, it's kind of crap. But yeah, let's take this thing apart, see what we got. Alrighty, so sorry for the absolutely terrible, butt ugly recording setup here. I've got some Sintra left over from my previous job, and I'm using a cell phone to record this video on I think it was like a $60 tripod. So yeah, I don't record videos in the greatest equipment, but I've had this open a long time ago. I think back when I got it, because I was curious what all was in it. I wanted to see the fan. Yeah, there's some other, I'm just curious like that. I take stuff apart. But it's worked perfectly for years now, up until today. So obviously my having taken it apart before wasn't a problem. So I'll show you. We have one here and one here. Let's go ahead and tear into this. This is going to be serious overkill. I could have just done that with a screwdriver, but where's the fun in that? Alright. Okay. So, what I want to look for are melted components, something burned, fuses popped. So let's see here. It's under my thumb. Here's the fuse, and you probably won't be able to see that, most likely. You might not. It's alright. But the fuse is good. Okay. So fuse is good. None of the capacitors look swollen or burned. No resistors look fried. I don't see any burning on the traces on the board. So everything seems to be good on this end. Alright. Alright, so I think this part, everything in here is okay. So I'm going to say yes to that. I highly doubt this is bad. I see no burning or arcing or scorched tips or anything, so this is all good. So here's my guess, is it's probably in the tip of this guy. These little stupid things are notorious for being absolutely terribly well put together. And they seem to twist a lot. Mostly because this black tip threads into, let me get something to point with a little better here. Sorry about this. This black tip threads into this socket here, and it's all just soldered together into this guy. And this is just like a strain relief. So, I grab my tiny guy, slide all this over, and let's take this apart and see what I've got in here. Give me a second, I'm going to lower the camera down so you can see more of what I'm doing. I'll be right back. Alright, so we get a little closer here. I'm going to finish taking this guy apart. Okay. Now this guy, this ring is used to thread against the inside of the hoverboard so that it holds the plug in and you can't pull the plug back out. That's all this ring is for. We need is this black guy out. So this, okay, that was just for strain relief. Now I take this, hold the base. There we go. And unthread. Or you can do it this way. Hold the base and turn this. Okay. I just put it back on. I don't know why I did that. There, you can see it's slowly backing off there. Get this back in the frame. Okay. Ha! I'll be damned, there it is. So there's my problem. Focus. Come on. There we go. So, this thing's having such a hard time focusing. The wire apparently has spun off enough that it came completely off. So I'm going to take the, I'll shrink down here, just move that down the wire. Move my stuff out of the way here. So, I can't really point with anything. Here, let me get these real quick here. Yes, dental tools, they're good for a whole bunch of things. But this wire right here, which is actually for this contact, is touching on this contact. It's actually crossed over. And this guy was just kind of floating around in the middle of nowhere. So what I need to do is I need to clean up, which means the black one is this contact. Sorry, let me get in frame. Is this contact, and the blue wire is this one. And it appears, there we go. That's how it should be. So I'm going to cut this back, I'm going to shave a little, I'm going to resolder these two, and we hopefully should have this completely fixed. Alrighty guys, so I have everything I need here, and we are going to get ready and resolder this guy. So what we need to do is we need to identify which pieces of wire go on what contacts here. So basically, if you look at the top of this black piece here, you'll notice that there are, let me turn it over, 3 numbers, 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 3, and 2 if you're just looking left to right here. So the black wire here is connected to this terminal right here, which is number 2. Sorry if that's not focusing, it is number 2, okay? So black is number 2, we're going to write this down. So we get black is 2. And we check the blue wire, which was the only other soldered one, which is this guy right here. And he is, sorry if the camera's not focusing, number 1. So blue is number 1. Let's write that down. So now we know exactly what went where, so if we disconnect it and we forget, it's okay, we have our notes. So let's go ahead. Clip this off. Out of here. I'm going to trim this guy back a little bit. I'm going to give myself just a little more than that, just so I have a nice clean bite and the wire is good. Get this stuff out of the way real quick. So let's come back. I like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull the insulation aside. Now, unfortunately, I nicked the coating right here on the black wire. I kind of split it a little bit. So you don't want to do that if you don't have to, and I'm not worried about the length of this cable. So I'm going to do this one more time, a little lighter. Okay. Should get me most of the way through here. Okay. Now that's about all that I had on there before. I don't want a whole lot left sticking out. I do want to be able to leave enough where the strain relief back in here can get a hold of it. So I'm going to real quickly pull this strain relief back up. And it looks like I'm going to have plenty. So, moving that way. Let's go ahead and take off a little bit of each wire here. There's not enough end left on here to be able to use my tools, but this should work just as well. Okay. And then the blue wire. Being careful trying not to nick anything if I can help it. Let's get these guys separated here. There. Okay. Alright, so twist them like this so that there's no frayed ends, nothing to stick out and potentially get on the other contact. I want to check my contact length against the wire here. Looks like I'm pretty good. I'm going to trim just a hair off of this guy. It's just a little too long for my taste. Okay. Alright, there's black and there's blue. Now this, I need to take the old off of here so that we can solder on the new. And for that, I'm going to use my wireless soldering gun here. And I don't know if I can get this on camera or not. Go. Let me clean up this contact real quick. all the, there we go. I can always put on more solder, that's not a problem. It is a little awkward doing this for the camera. I'm not used to working in that position. But, so, alright, so we got all that off. I did not need more solder, at least as far as I can tell. So let's go back to our notes real quick. And that's still pretty warm to the touch. So, black was number 2 and blue was 1. So on here, if we're going to do number 1, let's do blue, and he's going to go on this contact right here. Now this I may have a little trouble doing on camera. We'll see. Depends on how comfortable I am with this. I haven't tried doing this with one hand before. This is going to be an interesting challenge. So I certainly don't have the degree of control that I would normally have. And I'm having some issues getting my hand grip. So I'm going to move the camera and we'll do this again. Alright, so I forgot that I had a soldering rig in the basement, so I went ahead and got that. And I've got the clip holding here. So now I can freely work with 2 hands instead of needing 60. So let's go ahead and solder this one on here. And I am definitely going to want to add some more solder to that. No question about that. I'm using a camera stand to prop this up. And of course I ended up out of frame. So, let's go ahead and grab some more solder here. Okay. And I almost undid the work I just did. Okay. So now let's go ahead, rotate this. And then the black is going to go on that wire, on this connector here, which I'm kind of going to have to stretch and put in place here, looks like. It's not going to want to just go on its own. That should do it. I'd like it to be on a little better than that. All right. A little bit of solder blob to this. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So let's pull this back off. See what we got here. That's still pretty warm. So our connections are now, let me get better focus on this here. So now our connections are clean, they're separated, and they're much, much better. That should work just fine. Now, as a precaution, not that I need it, but because this metal jacket goes around here and they can touch the outside and then short between each other that way, I'm going to put a small strip of electrical tape here. Move my thing out of the way. So we don't need a whole lot. We don't need to take up too much space. So I'm going to take, say, twice around. Let's take about that much. And this is going to wrap around here, starting at the top, like this. Pull it tight. Don't get on the threads. Okay. There we go. This should work. So I'm going to go ahead, and before I put all this back together, because I want to make sure this works, I'm going to get my hoverboard up here, plug it in, and test it, and then I will come back and we will finish putting this guy away. Alright, so what we're looking for is this green LED to stay on and not flash red. So I'm going to go ahead here and plug this in. Notice that we're staying green, everything's working. If I bring this back, okay, nothing. This is now fixed. So let's put this back together, plug it in the actual hoverboard, and see if it charges. Alright, let's see if our fix worked here. First, I'm going to take this and plug this in. And that actually feels even a whole lot better. Normally you would twist this on, but we're not going to do that because we want to be able to pull it out quickly in case something happens. So it's in. There we go. Red means charging. Fans blowing. And we are now charging. So yeah, that's all it took. Notice we're good. What I want to be able to do is pull in case something happens. So when it's idle, it'll be green, and once it's on, it turns red. So yeah, nothing wrong with the hoverboard. It was all in the tip for the charger. So I'm going to leave this thing on charge so I can potentially make another video here, and yeah, maybe that's all the issue is with your charger and hoverboard, assuming you have one that has this kind of plug. Maybe it helped you, maybe it didn't. If it did, give it a like, thumbs up, ring a bell. I don't care what you do. What does the kids do these days? Oh geez, there's so many things to do. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.